Alright, you lot, settle in, because I'm about to spill tea all over the table and we're reacting to a bit of spicy rant from none other than Hens Plays. He's got a bone to pick with ridiculous game killer nonsense you keep hearing about. You know the drill. Internet loves overhyped buzzwords almost as much as it loves cat videos. But we're going to dive deep into why this whole killer game thing is naught but bollocks. But before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe and all that bollocks. It helps channel grow. Now let's jump in.
The whole dead, game killer thing needs to stop, and it just doesn't make sense.
Right, let's talk about this killer game crap. Seriously, every time a new game drops, some joker pipes up with, it's gonna kill insert popular game here. Like, we heard it with X-Defiant, and now we're hearing it again with this new game, Reforge. Hens Plays is spot on.
People need to stop labeling games as such and such killer.
People need to stop slapping that lazy killer label on everything like it's new Call of Duty versus Fortnite Battleground. Spoiler alert, it never ends where these armchair analysts predict. Look, when X-Defiant came out, suddenly everyone was like, COD is dead, lads, pack it up. Fast forward a few months and COD is still printing money faster than your average crypto scam. Why? Because no game's actually gonna kill another. Games coexist. Like a chaotic family dinner where everyone's yelling but no one's leaving the table. Each game's got its own niche, its own fanbase. X-Defiant didn't kill COD, just like Reforge ain't gonna suddenly murder Minecraft. It's like saying a new chicken joint will put KFC out of business. Mate, KFC ain't going anywhere, neither is Minecraft. What Hens Plays nailed is this.
There's no such thing as a game that will kill another game.
Games don't kill each other, they challenge each other. And even then, only if they're actually trying to do the same thing. X-Defiant's more like Halo or Splitgate. It's an arcade hero shooter. While COD, at its core, is an arcade shooter, it's not a hero shooter. It's like comparing a laser tag arena to a paintball war zone. Sure, both are shooting games, but they scratch completely different itches. Yet somehow, internet still loves to stir up this rivalry like it's their personal WWE pay-per-view. Nah, mate. Stop with clickbait, you're embarrassing yourself. But it's kicker, and this is where it gets good. This game killer rubbish, it's not just dumb, it's downright toxic. Second someone calls a game next killer, it sets off a chain reaction of brain-dead toxicity, like a virus spreading through comment section. Suddenly you got people rooting for one game to fail, like it's football match where someone's gotta lose. And trust me, that's when trolls come out to play. They swarm in, foaming at mouth, acting like they're defending the mother's honour or something. Relax, mate, it's just pixels. Hens Plays it nail on head when he said,
All it does is cause toxicity within a community.
it's like chucking a petrol bomb on an already burning fanbase. You got one camp ready to declare victory, other praying the favourite don't flop, and no one actually playing damn games for fun anymore. It's all about who's winning imaginary war. And guess what? No one's winning out. Developers? They're off counting the money, while you're busy throwing temper tantrums in a Reddit thread like a toddler who missed nap time. Take Fortnite and PUBG for example. Back when Fortnite launched, everyone was screaming it'd kill PUBG. Sure, it stole some thunder cause Fortnite were free, and PUBG won. But did it kill it? Hell nah. PUBG's still alive, and Fortnite's still doing its thing. But for a while there, it was pure madness online. People were frothing at mouths, throwing around killer this, killer that, like they were gladiators in some battle to death. Absolute clowns, I tell you. Bottom line, this game killer mentality don't just overwrite games that probably don't need it, it straight up poisons community. Instead of just enjoying both games for what they are, it turns everything into Battlefield. And when one game stumbles, even a little, pitchforks come out and Toxic Brigade shout, see, it's not a killer after all. Well, no shit, Sherlock. It wasn't trying to be, but you made it toxic. Congratulations, you've successfully ruined fun for everyone. Slow clap. But it's real kicker, and trust me, this one's juicy. Games, shock horror, can actually coexist. I know, wild concept, right? You can play more than one game at a time. It's not like Universe is gonna collapse cause you enjoy X-Defiant on Tuesday and pop into COD on Thursday. It's like the idea that owning both PS5 and Xbox will somehow tear a hole in fabric of reality. Spoiler alert, it won't. Its thing, People forget that games aren't in some bloody Hunger Games style fight to death. XDefiant, COD, Halo, Splitgate, they're all doing their own thing. It's like saying pizza's gonna kill burgers. Nah, mate, I love them both. And I'll eat whichever I'm craving that day. That's how it is with games. Different moods, different vibes. You want a fast-paced arcade shooter? XDefiant scratches that itch. Fancy a bit more tactical, sweaty, try-hard action? COD's still there for you, mate. And it's not just shooters. People are pulling this crap on every game. Take Reforge and Minecraft. Everyone's out here screaming that Reforge is gonna be Minecraft killer just cause it's another sandbox game with mining and crafting. Seriously? You think Minecraft, game that's been around longer than half these YouTubers, is gonna get wiped off map cause some new game? That's like thinking a new racing game is gonna kill Mario Kart. No one's coming for Mario. That guy's been throwing shells since before some of your dad's balls even dropped. Or probably before he was born in some cases. What's mad is that these games can actually help each other thrive. New game comes out, people get excited about genre, and it brings attention to other games already in that space. Look at Terraria and Minecraft. People called Terraria Minecraft Killer 2 when it launched. And guess what? Both games are still going strong. Different enough to stand on their own. Similar enough that fans of one often end up playing other. It's like these fan bases have never heard of variety. So maybe instead of hoping one game dies so another can live, how about you grow up, enjoy options and let games exist without turning it into some gladiator match? Novel idea, right? But wait, here's where things get really spicy. It's cold hard truth that ends plays drops like a grenade, and I'm here to double down on it.
The only place where I can see a game being called a thing killer is these yearly games where a new game in a franchise is going to release. So we'll take Black Ops 6. Black Ops 6 is going to be the Modern Warfare 3 killer because everybody's going to go from Modern Warfare 3 over to Black Ops 6.
The only thing that can kill a game is itself. Not some flashy new competitor, not some next big thing hyped by streamers. Nah, mate, a game dies when it stumbles over its own bloody feet. Let's be real. If a game goes down toilet, it's cost devs either made a dog's dinner of it, or they abandoned it faster than your ex did when you forgot your anniversary. Take Anthem, for example. Remember that one? Yeah, you probably don't, cause it face planted so hard it left a crater. That wasn't Fortnite or Disney killing it. It were BioWare's glorious mismanagement and broken promises. They hyped it up like it were gonna be its second coming, then launched a half-baked mess that couldn't even boil water. That's how games die, from inside. Either devs don't deliver, or they let things rot while they're off chasing next big cash grab. No rivals needed. It's like a self-destruct button were built into the bloody thing. And then you got classics like Halo, right? Back in the day, it were untouchable. King at console shooters. Then 343 Industries started messing with formula. Multiplayer went pay to win. Campaign modes got weaker. And guess what? Players started leaving. Not cause Call of Duty were dragging them away, but cause Halo lost what made it great in the first place. That's how a game gets killed, by shooting itself in foot, not by some killer game waiting in wings. And let's not even get started on Battlefield 2042. That game tanked all on its own with Hawk Grace or a swan dive into an empty pool. When you launch a game so broken even memes can't keep up, you don't need a rival to kill it off. It's like throwing yourself off a cliff and blaming gravity for fall. So next time you hear someone rambling about this game's gonna kill that one, remember, real killer is probably devs if they forgot who they're making game for in first place. If they're too busy chasing trends, stuffing game full of microtransactions, or trying to turn it into something it's not, well, they're just asking for a slow, painful death. But let me hit you with this. It's real thing that could make or break a game, and it's not to do with competition. Player expectations. Ah, yeah, these sweet, sweet demands from gaming community, more volatile than a pub full of footy fans during a penalty shootout. Let's be clear, if a game's gonna live or die, it's got everything to do with whether it meets, exceeds, or straight up ignores what players actually want. Take No Man's Sky for example. When that launched, it were more disappointing than a microwave meal that looks not like picture. People were furious. Hype were unreal. But delivery? Flat as a pancake. Devs overpromised and underdelivered, and players were ready to riot. But here's kicker. They actually turned it round. They listened, they patched, they expanded, and now it's one of the best comeback stories in gaming. That's what happens when devs take player expectations seriously and work to fix the mistakes instead of leaving game to rot. On the flip side, look at Cyberpunk 2077. Man, what a disaster. That what gaming equivalent to showing up to a party in a Ferrari then stalling on a driveway. People had waited years for that game. And what did they get? Bugs, glitches, crashes. Well, like someone launched it out of a potato cannon. CD Projekt Red had built this massive expectation. And when they couldn't meet it, well, you saw what happened. Refunds, lawsuits, whole bloody circus. Only now, after years of patching and updates, are people starting to forgive and forget, and games finally hitting mark. But at launch? Brutal. And this whole thing about expecting one game to be killer or another, that's just setting it up for failure. Think about it. Every time someone labels a game next COD killer or Minecraft killer, they're piling on expectations so high it's like building a Jenga tower out of hopes and dreams. Eventually one tiny bug or bad review and boom, it all comes crashing down. Players expect these so-called killer games to be flawless right out at gate, and when they aren't, internet explodes into a sea of memes and complaints. Devs are suddenly drowning in pool or angry tweets, review bombs and refund requests. And truth is, if devs don't set right expectations, or worse, if they ignore them, they're digging their own graves. Look at Overwatch 2. Players expecting more than just a half-baked sequel where we rehashed content, and when it didn't deliver, well, you saw backlash. If you don't get players what they've been sold, you're not just risking disappointment, you're risking entire game's future. So moral of the story here is simple. You want your game to thrive? Then get players what they're asking for, or at least something close. Otherwise, only killer you'll need to worry about is order angry gamers and with keyboard pitchforks. But speaking of things that actually make a game stand out, here's where real magic happens. And spoiler alert, it's not trying to be next this or next that. It's innovation, pure and simple. You can't just slap together a copy and paste version at last big hit and expect to break internet. Games that stick around, ones that keep people coming back to, ones that take risks, push boundaries, and bring something new to the table. That's what players are after, a fresh experience, not a half-assed remix. Look at Fortnite. Before it became a meme machine and a platform for virtual concerts, it was just another battle royale game, right? Wrong. It brought building mechanics into the genre, and suddenly it were a game changer. You weren't just gunning down opponents, you were throwing up walls and ramps faster than a cowboy in a saloon shootout. Love it or hate it, it were new. That's what got people hooked. Then you got games like Apex Legends, another battle royale. But they added their own spin with character abilities, squad-based play, and fluid movement mechanics. They weren't trying to be a PUBG killer, they were doing their own thing, and that's why it blew up. They weren't just competing, they were evolving genre. You don't have to reinvent wheel to stand out, but you better damn well polish it until it shines. And let's not forget power of community. Some of the biggest games out there thrive because they've got die-hard, passionate communities behind them. Minecraft? Basically a religion at this point. Why? Because community built an entire universe around it. Mods, fan-made servers, YouTube content, it's endless. Games kept alive not just by updates from Mojang, but by players who create within it. Same goes for XDefiant. You got a dedicated player base that ain't expecting it to kill COD. They're there because it scratches an itch for fast-paced arcade-style chaos. And as long as that community is there, game's gonna keep kicking. Real key here is that developers need to foster that community, give them tools to create, and listen when they've got something to say. If you keep players happy and engaged, they'll stick around. Innovation might get people in door, but it's community that keeps lights on. Look at Destiny 2. Game's had its ups and downs. But Bungie's commitment to evolving game, along with its dedicated fanbase, is what keeps it going. So if you're a dev looking to make next big thing, here's your golden rule. Stop trying to kill competition and focus on making something worth playing. Innovate, build something unique, and for the love of all things gaming, nurture your community. Because if you don't, that's when your game is truly dead in water. And now let's bring it all home with final word. We've covered it all, from ridiculous idea at game killers to real reason games survive and thrive. Spoiler, it's not cause some armchair analyst declares one game dead on arrival. If you've stuck with me this far, congratulations, you're now immune to nonsense that plagues gaming community. You see through hype, clickbait, and pointless us versus them mentality. You know better, and frankly, you deserve a medal for it. At the end of the day, games aren't about killing off competition. They're about giving us players something worth sinking hours into. Whether it's XDefiant, COD, Reforge, or even bloody Minecraft. Point is to have fun, not fight over which one's king of ill. Because guess what? There's room at top for more than one game. So before you head off to flame someone in comments or start Twitter war, remember this. Play what you enjoy, let others do the same, and stop worrying about whether your favourite game is going to kill another. Life's too short, and there's too many damn good games to be stuck in that toxic mindset. And speaking of toxic, you lot know what to do next. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and leave your comments and questions below. You know I love hearing what you gotta say, even if it's a load of bollocks. Who knows? Your brilliant insights or mind-numbing drivel might just get featured in a future video. I'll see you next time, you magnificent